Lee, if you would you go ahead and start us, please?
Gracious Lord, we want to take just a few moments here. Give you thanks for the abundance of your blessings, for those simple things we tend to pass over, like a beautiful day outside and the favorable weather. Thank you for the leaders we have in this county and their support for the National Day of Prayer. We'd ask your special blessing upon them, their homes, their families, their livelihoods. And we'd make bold to ask the guidance of your Holy Spirit, that those things done here might be in the best interests of all, and might serve as well to glorify you. Giving you thanks now, asking your continuing blessing. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right, Brother Chester, before we say the pledge, do you want to say anything about National Day of Prayer since we got K105 live?
I would like to do that.
Yes, absolutely, sir.
And of course, we're standing together up there, right?
Exactly.
You're going to be the MC.
Yeah, we're about
Okay.
15 seconds.
That's the man that's, what's that stand for?
I'm not for sure.
Anyway, the National Day of Prayer is the 5th of May, and it's at the new courthouse over on Gibson Avenue, and it starts at 12 noon. We have some special people who are going to be talking. We'll have several praying. Some of the ministers in local will be having some prayer time with it. Our Senator, Meredith,
Yes.
Steve Meredith is going to be there, and some of the rest of the guys, Brother Jeremy and some of the different ones are going to be there. So we're looking forward to it. And then, what are we going to do after the meeting's over, brother?
We are going to be eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be eating hot dogs and hamburgers, and
Yeah.
anyone that's welcome to attend, and we'll be providing that through our road department guys will be doing the cooking. So.
This will be outside on the steps, so hopefully the weather will cooperate with us, and we can do it outside. So hope to see you there.
All right, thank you, Brother Chester.
Uh-huh.
All right, gentlemen, we'll do the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Damon, second by Brian, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have approved payment of bills.
Motion.
Motion by Darren,
I'll second.
second by Neil, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have approved treasurer's budget transfers as presented.
Make a motion.
Motion by Tommy, second by Damon, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have approved treasurer's monthly settlement.
Motion.
Motion by Darren, second by Tommy, all in favor?
Aye.
Be any opposed? Next, we approve treasurer's quarterly settlement. Need a motion. Motion by, who was it? Motion by Darren, second by Kevin, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next, is anyone here in reference to the hearing for the county road aid, local government economic assistance? Is anyone here for that, for the hearing? Okay, no one here. Submit proposed Grayson County budget for 6/30/23, and each magistrate, you have received a copy. We don't need to vote on that right now. You just need to look over it and ask any questions at our next meeting to make sure everything is in there, but you do have a copy of it that was given to you by the treasurer. Okay. Next, we got approved jailer's payment of bills.
Make a motion.
Motion by Tommy. Second by Darren, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have approved jailer's monthly settlement.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Neil.
Second.
Second by Brian, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have approved jailer's budget transfers as presented.
Make a motion.
Motion by Kevin.
Second.
Second by Damon, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have approved advertised bids for jail infrastructure. Jason, you want?
Yeah, what that is, all it is we're needing, our servers are at end of life status, so they're working fine right now. But at that time, it's recommended to start looking at replacing them. So we'll have to bid it out because it's going to be more, expected to be more than the $30,000 expenditure limit. So we'll have to bid that out. So I'm asking today to advertise for that bid.
Make a motion.
Motion by Darren, second by Tommy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have approved sheriff's monthly settlement.
Make a motion.
Motion by Tommy,
Second.
second by Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have the National Prayer Proclamation, which we went ahead and signed that, and that's what Brother Charger was talking about.
Motion.
And so, need a motion. Motion by Darren, second by Damon. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And now we're to the first reading of an ordinance related to the use of golf carts on certain designated county roads. And I'll go ahead and tell everybody that's listening on K105 that some of the magistrates was approached about possibly doing an ordinance for operating of golf carts on county roads, and they got with the county attorney, and this is what he's come up with. There will be much discussion over it. So, Jeremy, if you want to go ahead and do the first reading, and we won't vote on anything until we have the discussion. So, Jeremy, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'd love to summarize this, but there's a lot of details that are kind of important, so I'm going to read a fair amount of it. An ordinance relating to the use of golf carts on certain designated county roads, whereas KRS 189286, enacted by the Kentucky General Assembly, authorizes governing body of a local government to permit and regulate the operation of golf carts on any public roadway within its jurisdiction, subject to the requirements enumerated in the statute, and whereas the operation of approved golf carts on county roadways have been requested by a number of Grayson County citizens, and whereas the Grayson County Fiscal Court deems it appropriate to adopt the provisions KRS 189286 to permit and regulate the operation of golf carts on designated county roadways within its jurisdiction. Golf carts. Definition. As used in this chapter, the term golf cart means any self-propelled vehicle that, one, is designed for the transportation of players or maintaining equipment on a golf course while engaged in the playing of golf, supervising the play of golf, or maintaining the condition of the grounds on a golf course. 2, has a minimum of 4 wheels. 3, is designed to operate at a speed of not more than 35 miles per hour. 4, is designed to carry not more than 6 persons, including the driver. 5, has a maximum gross vehicle weight of 2,500 pounds. 6, has a maximum rated payload capacity of 1,200 pounds. And 7, is equipped with the following: A, headlamps; B, tail lamps; C, stop lamps; D, front and rear turn signals; E, 1 red reflex reflector on each side as far to rear as practical, and 1 red flex reflector on the rear. F, an exterior mirror mounted on the driver's side of the vehicle, and either an exterior mirror mounted on the passenger side of the vehicle or an interior mirror. G, a parking brake. H, for each designated seating position, a seat belt assembly that conforms to the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard provided in 49 CFR Section 571209. And I, a horn that meets the requirements of KRS 189080. Requirements. In order to be operated on a designated county roadway, a golf cart shall be 1, be issued a permit for the golf cart by the county. 2, display a sticker or permit that identifies the golf cart is allowed to be operated on specific roadways in the county, within the county. 3, be inspected by a certified inspector designated by the Grayson County Sheriff's Office and certified through the Department of Vehicle Regulation to ensure that the golf cart complies with the requirements of the section. The inspection fee under this paragraph shall be $5 if the inspection occurs at the sheriff's inspection site, or $10 per trip if it becomes necessary for a certified inspector to travel to the site of the golf cart rather than having the golf cart brought to the sheriff's inspection site. 4, display a slow-moving vehicle emblem in compliance with KRS 189820. B, be ensured in compliance with KRS 30439 through 80 by the owner or operator, and the proof of insurance shall be inside the golf cart at all times of operations on a public roadway. 6, be operated by a person with a valid operator's license in his or her possession. 7, be restricted such that the operation of the golf cart does not cross any roadway at an intersection where the roadway being crossed has a posted speed limit of more than 35 miles per hour and does not cross any state route that has been prohibited by the Kentucky Transport Cabinet. 8, be operated only by on a designated county roadway approved by the fiscal court and listed in the Grayson County Code of Ordinance. Designated county roadways. A, golf carts may only be operated on designated county roadways whose speed limits are 35 miles per hour or less and are approved by the Grayson County Fiscal Court. Approved county roadways will be listed in the schedule of designated roadways in the Grayson County Code of Ordinances. B, the fiscal court shall appoint 3 individuals to a newly formed traffic safety committee. The traffic safety committee's sole purpose is to review applications for the designation of county roadways for golf cart operation. 3 committee members will be appointed by the judge executive, including the sheriff or any certified officer in his employment may serve in his place as designated, the county road supervisor, and the county road assistant supervisor. The committee members shall only meet when there has been a valid application submitted and may meet in person, by phone, or by video teleconferencing within a reasonable time frame after the receipt of the application by the fiscal court. The committee will recommend or reject all applications in part or in whole. Their findings shall be in writing and shall be submitted to the fiscal court and kept on record at the judge executive's office. All recommendations or rejections are to be reviewed by the fiscal court at the next regular meeting. The fiscal court shall consider the application and the recommendation of the traffic safety committee and may grant approval or disapproval of the application. C, any citizen may request the addition of a county roadway on which they reside as a designated county roadway by completing the application for designation of county roadway for golf cart operation herein referred to as application, and submitting the application to the Grayson County Traffic Safety Committee for review. The roadway requested must meet all requirements set forth in this chapter. Every application must include a petition signed by no fewer than 10 separate unique owners of the property, or 50% for roadways with fewer than 20 homes on the street roadway to be impacted. D, any citizen, group of citizens or neighborhood homeowners association may request the addition of multiple county roadways within a neighborhood as designated county roadways by completing an application for designation of county roadway for golf cart operation, which shall provide the names of the roadways requested and submitting the application to the Grayson County Traffic Safety Committee for review. The roadways requested must meet all requirements set forth in this section. Every application must include a petition signed by no fewer than 25 separate unique owners of property, or 50% of the total number of occupied homes, rounded down if necessary to the nearest whole number for neighborhoods fewer than 50 homes from the streets roadways to be impacted. The fiscal court shall consider the application and the recommendations of the Traffic Safety Committee may grant approval or disapproval of the application in whole or part. Traffic and parking regulations. Any person operating a golf cart on public roadway under the provisions of the chapter shall be subject to all traffic regulations of KRS Chapter 189 and any other applicable provisions of the code pertaining to the operation of vehicles upon county road. B, golf carts are not permitted to be parked on or across a county roadway, sidewalk, or multi-use pathway. Any person violating this section shall be subject to penalties listed in sections 6 and 7 of the ordinance. And that would be changed to section 7. Section 5, parental guardian responsibility. It shall be unlawful for any parent, guardian, or other adult person having care and/or custody of any minor child under 18 years of age to knowingly permit such a minor child to violate this chapter. Any parent or guardian or adult person having the care and/or custody of any minor child under 18 years of age who authorizes or knowingly permits such child to violate any part of this ordinance shall be guilty of violation of this ordinance. Exemptions. Golf carts operating on a public roadway are not considered to be a motor vehicle and are exempt from title requirements of KRS 186.020, vehicle registration requirements of KRS 168.050, and emissions compliance certificates pursuant to KRS 224.20 through 720. B, the provisions of this section shall not apply to a golf cart that is not being used on a public roadway except to cross the roadway while following a golf cart path on a golf course. Penalty, any person in violation of the provisions of this article, upon conviction of a first offense, shall be guilty of a violation and be fined not less than $100 and not more than $250. Any person convicted of a subsequent violation of this article within 2 years of a prior conviction of this article shall be fined not less than $250 nor more than $500. Towing and storage. An officer is authorized to have a towing service remove any golf cart or other self-propelled means of transportation from a county roadway to a storage facility when not operating with a valid permit as required by this article, not possessing an element required by state statute or otherwise not in conformity with state statute or county ordinance. This section shall not apply to a motorized disability access vehicle or a battery-operated unit which serves the sole purpose as a child's toy and not for transportation. The golf cart or self-propelled means of transportation shall be released from the storage facility to the owner or other person proving sufficient proof of right to take ownership upon approval by the Sheriff's Department and payment of all towing and storage fees. Section 9, it shall be lawful for any person who meets the requirements of ordinance to operate a golf cart upon designated county streets and roadways approved pursuant to this ordinance. Section 10, federal or state statutes and regulations. The provisions of this ordinance are subordinate to any federal or state law or regulation that pertains to the subject matter contained within this chapter. Section 2, the provisions of this ordinance are severable, and the invalidity of any provisions of this ordinance shall not affect the validity of any other provision thereof, and such provisions shall remain in full force and effect so long as they remain valid in the absence of those provisions determined to be valid. Section 3, effective date.
All right. Discussion on this.
Well, I've been talking to Mr. Jean for quite a while on it. You got something, Gene, you wanna?
The biggest objection I'm getting from all the people.
Gene, if you don't care, just state your name for the minutes, so she
Will
can.
do. My name's Gene Warkle.
Yeah, just so she can put it in the minutes. Just so she can put it in the minutes.
Got you covered.
Yeah.
The biggest objection, I've received 2 objections, but the biggest one is seat belts on the golf cart. And in contacting Sailor's golf cart, another person has contacted them, I contacted them today. This gentleman back here talked to him. Sailor's says in their meeting with Club Car, they are a Club Car dealer, that they do not recommend seat belts on them because there's not a roll bar on a golf cart. If it happens to roll, they said you've got more options of getting hurt on it by having a seat belt on. That's the biggest objection I've heard from everyone I've talked with, including the manufacturer, or the representative of the manufacturer.
Okay. Anybody else want to speak on the matter? Floor is open.
Is the seatbelts an option on the golf carts when you purchase them, or they come with seatbelts on them?
No.
But no.
No. All the factories do not, or when they come from a factory, they do not come with a seat belt.
According to this, that's a KRS statute though, right?
Yeah, there's a KRS statute. I mean, Jeremy could tell you more about it, but it's 189-286. The state of Kentucky passed. Of course, this ain't the first time this came up, you know, in county government or city government, but I mean, Jeremy will be able to probably explain more to you, but basically everything outlined in this ordinance appears to me that it's from KRS 189.286. Am I right?
That's correct. Just to give you a little bit of kind of the overview, the legislature passed this, 2010 was the original one. They've made a couple tweaks to it, but in doing it, it's basically a permission slip. and it says to local governments that you can authorize golf carts to operate on these roadways, on these highways, if you follow these rules. So I'm simply not listing in the ordinance these requirements because I like to. I mean, I don't have a golf cart, so seatbelt to me is not an issue. But it is an issue to the state. And so if we're going to pass an ordinance, we're required to have these elements contained. And it's just not coming from the state. That's what's referenced, especially about the seatbelt, is from the federal code. The Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards has a list of things that they require, and that seatbelt, which is cited in the KRS, is there, and that's why those are there. I believe that their thing is that if you are going to operate them as a type of motor vehicle, then they need to be equipped with the safety or equipment that's necessary to keep people safe.
Do they have turn signals and?
Yeah, yes.
Do we really need this?
May I submit something to the court?
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
May I just give it to you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Here's an ordinance passed with the same things that we're talking about, but they did not list the seatbelt on it, they left it out.
I've done got it.
Okay, yeah.
Not good, thank you.
Yeah, it's Smith's Grove ordinance. And have you got a copy of that, Jeremy? And he might, give that to Jeremy. He might be able to tell you, of course, I know city and county govern under two separate laws. I know a lot of people, you know, they think that's sort of crazy, but quite honestly, I do too, but that's just the way it is. I spoke with a CAECO attorney, and they had told me that they don't see how we can supersede KRS law. And they said, I mean, you could, but then the court's liable. And so I'm only other county that I'm aware of that passed anything was it Boone County?
Boone County's got a seatbelt.
Boone County, I don't think Bowling Green does.
No, Warren County doesn't, but Boone County does, and that
Correct.
Boone County done the adoption of the KRS, basically just had to do it.
Correct.
And from my understanding, Jeremy, he can elaborate on this, but we are governed under a different set of laws, and like I said, I don't know anything about Smith's Grove other than I've drove through there a few times, but is that a possibility, the reason that their ordinance is written different, or?
I mean, the court may have voted to leave that out, and this court could do that. But can I advise the court to pass an ordinance that's illegal? I cannot do that.
In other words, the liability increases with the...
Well, city council actually been the one that passed that ordinance through Smith Grove, so,
But
or
this,
city commissioners.
and so, you know, we've got this permission slip. If we, you know, built in the statute, it says that a local government may adopt more stringent local ordinances governing golf cart safety equipment, which would be seatbelts, than specified in the section. So it gives you permission to have more, but it doesn't give you permission to take it away. And if we're not using this permission slip how we're supposed to be, then the first time that I charge somebody, they could challenge it, and then, you know, our ordinance could be overturned, and then we won't have an ordinance.
Which and from my understanding, the Attorney General's office, it was gonna take so long to get an opinion, and it's that way with everything right now when you call to get an opinion on something.
And we did get some guidance about the
Yeah.
designated roadways. That was, you know, what Boone County was doing, because there's really no case history on these types of ordinances.
Right.
And so we just have to look to other.
But they highly suggested too, not diverting away from KRS, simply because the county could be liable in case, say someone got hurt. And I mean, I don't care. I mean, I agree with you all. I mean, I'd probably rather be on a golf cart without a seatbelt on myself, because they ain't got a roll bar. But, as soon as someone did get hurt, we passed an ordinance and it said that there's not supposed to be a seatbelt on there. Guess who's getting sued? The county. Because we passed an ordinance that said you don't have to wear a seatbelt on a golf cart. So that's the dilemma I would say that the magistrates is in. And like I said, I'm just here to pass on information to you guys and you all to ask questions. And Gene and all these other folks are here, and I mean, I highly recommend if you all got something to say, please, speak up. We've got open meetings here whenever we discuss stuff like this, so by all means, if you've got something to enlighten us, we would love to hear it, so.
Why do we have to have an ordinance for this?
Well,
What's going on? I mean, I haven't heard anything much.
Gene, why should we have an ordinance like? Now,
I can tell you why we've approached the court today, the last year and a half. But prior to that, I've brought this to fiscal court once before, but that's another story. This last time we've approached the court to bring this in because we had someone in the neighborhood who every time we drove by on a golf cart, he was calling 911 saying so-and-so was coming down here. It wasn't just me, but it was several other people throughout the neighborhood complaining they're driving down their golf cart and they kept tying up 911. So I, in our neighborhood, decided to go on in and bring the golf course ordinance up again and bring it to the court.
So, and of course our sheriff's not here tonight, he couldn't be with us, but Jared's here, and I mean, he can speak a little bit on it. Basically, it's against the law to ride a golf cart on the road right now, okay? It's KRS. Can't get them on the roadway unless City of Litchfield has an ordinance. I talked to the mayor today. They have adopted basically the same type of ordinance that we have here that Jeremy has drawn up, and simply because of the KRS 189 to 86. And they've done some research too, so theirs require to have a seatbelt. Everything that is spelled out in the KRS is basically the same thing that Litchfield's got in theirs. And they was advised also by Kentucky League of Cities attorneys that they would stay with the KRS, what the legislation had passed. And guys, it all boils down to litigation and who's responsible, that's what it boils down to. So, but there's also a law on the books which is you can't drive a golf cart on the road if there's not an ordinance that's in place for that city or that county. Now, me and Gene had spoke, and I don't know, it's probably been over a year ago, I guess. And was Norman here then?
Yes.
Yeah. They, and understand, does every one of y'all live on lake communities, lake roads? You go down from Memorial Day to Labor Day on the weekends, I don't think you see cars, you see golf carts on these roads, okay? And of course, Jared, I mean, you speak up here, but I think the problem has been the kids riding the golf carts.
That's what I've had a lot of calls on that.
Is the kids riding the golf carts. Of course, some people don't parent like I do. I mean, I wouldn't let my kids out on the road on a golf cart, period. But some don't think a whole lot of it, and they just, let them go out. But the sheriff's office is sort of in a position that it's illegal. You can't do it. Adult, child, whatever. So it's sort of hypocritical, I guess you would say, to go into a lake community and pass 3 people that are in their 50s or 60s driving a golf cart, and then, which is illegal, and cite someone that's 14 years old riding one. Is that correct, Jared?
We have, summertime, we are inundated with golf cart side-by-side complaints on roadways. Since the side-by-side things have been built, we get those are our complaints usually, and it's a lot to do with speed, sound. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Since I've been here with the sheriff's office, with the previous sheriff, I started there, I know of probably 6 fatalities from golf cart accidents on lake roadways in our county, in our community. We don't like to see those, right? I'm tired of seeing them. I'm tired of seeing any kind of fatalities. That's what's tough. So it's hard when you see children coming by. We arrest DUIs down there. That's our concern, safety. I mean, we don't, I think as long as that's,
And that's
for me, I
one
think I
thing
can
we want
speak
to
for-
accomplish. We want to get the young children, unlicensed children, off of the
I
roads.
think I can speak for Norman. I think safety is our utmost concern.
Does anybody make seat belts for these?
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, you
Yes.
go to,
Okay, that's what I'm
yeah,
saying,
you
because,
go to like some of these Panama City Beach, you go to
Yeah.
They're everywhere,
Gatlinburg, they're
yeah.
everywhere, they've got seatbelts on.
because,
The
you
thing
know,
about it-
I've
the
dealt
thing
with
about
cars
it,
all
though-
my life, if the seat belt ain't mounted right, and they crash and they pull, you know, cause you're on plastic fiberglass bodies. You know, if it ain't somebody that professionally putting them on there, you know, just say, you go and put your own on. You know, and then you go in there and crash and it pulls through that, you know,
Yeah, and like I said, I understand,
Yeah.
you know, your all's point about the seatbelts, but, you know,
It's a double-edged sword.
you've got to, you know, we
Yeah.
can't go against KRS. It's gonna give us, you know, tons of liability. I mean, as soon as it happens, I mean, you can say, well, nobody's gonna do that. I can assure you,
Yeah.
the first person that's gonna be listed on a lawsuit is Grayson County Fiscal Court.
You know, I
So-
think also for us,
And,
Judge, we're not gonna stop it. You know, they're gonna, I mean, like you said, you go on the weekends, there's golf carts everywhere, or side by sides. So if you guys can consider that and do something to where we say, okay, guys, if you're gonna do this, here's what we would like for you to do. We can work to at least keep children safe, right? Cause it's hard. I mean, that's what lake people do. It's like you said, Kevin, you go on weekends when lake season's in and they're everywhere. You know, me personally, I can just speak for myself. You know, we have, we can overlook things, right? We go down to the lakes. I do it. I mean, I've got 100 other things to do.
it's almost like one of those deals where, I mean, it's, people's done it for years.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, you know, years ago as a trooper, I mean, I'd stop, pull up and talk to people
Yeah,
on golf
yeah,
carts.
absolutely.
But now, you know, the kids, you know, I'd say,
Mhm.
hey, you can't be on that, you need to, you know, you get back here. Of course, I
Yeah.
never wrote a lot of citations over it, but,
We didn't either.
uh,
I don't think we do. Normally, I think we try.
but I could see where it would create a problem, you know, with, you know,
The seat
you know, some of the parents might not even be around.
Yeah.
And, you know, and they're out, you know, cutting shine out on the roads, and, that's where some of the fatalities is coming.
Well, I think if you all have something set in front of them, I think that would entice people to follow those rules probably more, because they're gonna be like, hey, guys, we can do this, but here's what we're gonna have to do. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's just a
It
personal
sounds to me
opinion.
like, well, we can't do part of it. We have to either go all in
Yeah,
or none. It's-
right.
And what I'm saying is
Yeah.
this, it's a double-edged sword, because I can't support nothing that's gonna create a liability for the county.
Because our primary objective is to correct the county's liability.
yeah, we wanna do what we can for our constituents, but we
Right,
wanna be able to do it
Without-
within
Because I have a
reason
golf
also.
cart that I use
Because
frequently.
because if
And
the
they are
manufacturer of the,
And then my thing is too, you all know, you're all on them golf carts all the time, you're down at the lake. I mean, that's quite a bit to do to a golf cart to get it in compliance, and then to go, you know, to go to the sheriff's office with it, or I'm sure you all would go, you know, to have it inspected. Of course, you know, before, you know, talking heads start pounding keyboards, it's not about tax money for us, because quite honestly, that wouldn't pay the fuel bill of what this would bring in for the sheriff to run out there and do an inspection. But
it'd be a lot better if there's a way around the seatbelts.
I mean, to keep kids, this is the thing. You have a law, it's illegal to ride golf carts on the road. You can keep the kids off of it, the sheriff's office has got to enforce it. You know, I don't know what your all's manpower is or how you all schedule, I don't know. That's up to you all, but, it either goes, that's everybody, the kids, the adults, everybody, so. you
Well,
know,
I've had a
if
few
you go-
calls,
But
and that
if
was-
if you pass this, that would keep the kids off of it, but however, it can't be passed unless all the provisions are in there as far as the, what KRS states. Well, yeah, go ahead.
I don't see anything wrong with, putting seatbelts on a golf cart, but most of us that live in any community down there, we have 2 or 3 accesses to the lake for handicapped people.
Mhm.
We have a handicap sticker on our golf cart issued by the Corps, and it lets us go down to that path, so we have to get on the road in order to get to that path.
Yeah,
And I think that should be taken into consideration too, that, I can't walk down there.
right.
Gene can't, and you just need something to where we can get down. And again, I have no problem with putting seat belts on it, it doesn't matter to me, that's.
Well, wouldn't this ordinance give you what you're asking for?
Yes, as far as, it, sure it would. I
Yeah.
mean, we would just,
Right.
Okay,
if
my
you've gotta put
question-
the seat belts on it.
Yeah.
Well,
you take it.
you're saying put a subsection in basically on the ordinance saying that, I don't know how you could do that. I mean, we can't legally tell someone that they can get a golf cart. I mean, you can't supersede KRS law.
You can
understand
take a
what I'm-
four-wheeler.
You see where I'm going?
You can take a 4-wheeler on the road, and it's not licensed, it doesn't have seat belts,
No, no.
and you're allowed to
It's
take a
illegal.
No, you
4-wheeler
can't.
from
It's illegal to get
Unless it's farm
No, unless
use.
it's farm.
On the farm.
Yeah, I think it says 2
Farm,
tenths of
you
a
can
mile.
cross the road,
Right.
up to the farm.
Some
but
of the
yeah,
other
there's-
angle.
that-
It is a
we get
limit.
that.
See, and that's something else
Yeah,
too, you know.
I thought it was just like 2 tenths of a mile on the road, and most of us 2 tenths would cover all.
No, it's supposed to be farm use, but I mean, a lot of the times the law enforcement officers, they don't dive into that, like, it's supposed to be crossing the roadway and that type stuff, and,
There is that.
Are we creating a problem if we pass this with the seatbelt regulations when they don't?
I don't know that you would have, I don't know, that's what I was asking, I don't know that there'd be that many people that would actually do it, is there? I mean, say this ordinance passed, okay, of course, you all live down there, that's why we're even looking at this, is because you came to us to look into this. I asked the mayor, he said they've had 9 people since they passed the ordinance. That's all they've had. Well, nobody wants to go through the hassle of putting all this stuff, seat belts and turn signals and tail lights and and everything else on their golf carts.
That's
So-
their option.
That's, yeah.
Right, so my question would be, do you all know, would there be more people that would put these on there?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe if you have a problem with getting down to the lake and getting to your path that you're going to, I know I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and let me back up when you asked me that first question.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not an attorney, don't get me wrong, so we look at,
Right.
Jeremy for law advice.
I'm looking on Amazon at the seat belts. You can get a set of them for $90 for 4 of them. or whatever.
Okay. I don't think we could exempt someone from
Is that a certified
state law,
seatbelt, Jeremy?
to say, okay, you don't have to have a seatbelt, you don't have to have this, you don't have to have that. As long as you've got a handicap sticker, you can go to the easement, which I know how all the lake properties are. You go from your driveway to the lake easement down to the docks. I don't think we could put that in there.
I was just bringing it to your attention, that's what we need.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We don't need that in there,
Yeah.
but it's what we do, and if we can legally get on the road with the provisions that are in the ordinance, do it. I mean, that's fine.
Right.
I don't think anybody that's gonna get on that road would mind doing what they have to do to
Yeah,
upgrade
Jane.
their vehicles.
Go
Can I
ahead.
make a motion, we accept the ordinance as read?
Well, you can't, but one of these guys can.
You mean with the seatbelts and just like this is?
If that's what he wishes, one of us will make that motion.
I've had a lot of calls. I'll probably have more calls than anybody has, and I've talked to Gene a lot. Actually, I got 2 or 3 last week. The main issue that the people that's called me has said is they want to get these kids off, and they wanted it to be to where if a 10-year-old kid was on this car acting like an idiot, that they could call the sheriff's office, they could come and find the parent. But the ones I talked to wanted to find to be enough.
Well, this is what's happened in the past, okay? Because I've been sitting in the car. I've heard it. I find that car. Now, Jared backed me up on this. I find that car that someone called 911. I find it. As soon as I get down there and I start writing a ticket to the child, the 14, 15-year-old, for being on the roadway because they was cutting a shine, the parents come up and say, well, what about Gene? He was riding his golf cart right down there.
That's why we need the ordinance.
So that has been a problem. Am I right or wrong?
Absolutely, 1000%.
So, and trust me, yes, sir.
My name's Steve Taylor. I live in Nolan Lake Estates, have for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. We can't call the police because we're afraid our neighbor may be driving down to the dock. We don't want to get him in trouble.
The police come in, yeah.
So we don't call the police on the kids, and we need to be able to do that.
Yeah, and my question is too, you're all there, you all have read the ordinance. Is the, let's see, where was it at? Let me ask. I'm just asking questions that I've thought about. The designation of county roads, as far as having the committee to come out and look and having the people sign off, is
It's not an issue with me.
yeah, I mean.
I think they're asking us to submit it, and then the committee looks at it.
My question would be, I mean, there's gonna be some areas that like, no, we don't want it, because I know you was having an issue with somebody, but everybody else on the road would probably sign. But I don't think it'd be an issue anywhere down on the lake, would it?
It would be hard if I was riding around on my golf cart, I wouldn't know which streets are legal and which ones aren't.
And see, that's one thing also that I thought of.
So I would like to designate all the roads in Nolan Lake Estates.
But then it would be someone's responsibility, and maybe we'll put that on you, to go around and get everyone to sign off on that. You know, that's property owners that would sign. Because one thing that I've asked is, is it not gonna be difficult for the sheriff's office to be able to police that?
Yeah, it already is.
Percent of the total.
I mean, knowing which roads.
Percent of the total number of
Yeah,
occupied
absolutely.
homes.
Yeah, it would be confusing.
Occupied makes it easy.
What's that?
It's 50% of the occupied homes. Where I live, there's only 3 of us full-time residents, the rest of them are just during the summer.
Right,
So I get 3 of them, I got 100%.
right.
You know, truly, Judge, the majority of what, I can speak for myself, what I've seen when I'm working and I go out on the lake roads, the majority of the golf carts are on the areas or the roadways that I think you all would designate them to be on. I don't know that I've ever seen a golf cart on,
Well, it's gonna be able to,
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to identify the golf
Yeah.
cart, because if they're in compliance, they're gonna have the sticker and all that on, so.
Yeah, but I think as far as the confusion of if the roadways would be hard to designate, or, you know, to understand which roadways they were not allowed to be on, the most of what I see now, the golf carts typically are the lake people. On the big weekends, you have kids on them, but they're usually still on the roadways. I think you guys would probably, or that committee
In that
would be okay
subdivision.
with.
Right.
And just a couple things. One, you know, I think Boone County, they have a different situation. It's not lake communities, it's gated communities.
Yeah.
And I think they have a list online accessible, and they add into it. And I think they maybe have 30 roadways. You know, if we're not probably gonna have 30, I would say. But I mean, even if it's putting a sign on for each road as we designate them, a little sign. We've got the forms and everything ready because there's the inspection of the cart, we have to have that, we've got the applications for the homeowner association or for the individuals. And so, you know, it might be good. Boone County has a really good informative website as far as the county one, just to give people that notice. But my other comment is that if we're gonna do this, we're gonna have to cite people. I mean, we don't have to tow every golf cart because, you know, and we have to also understand that the resources of the officers coming down there, they're not gonna be down there every time you want them. Obviously, I'd love it if we did have enough, but, you know, if we're gonna make these people go through all these steps and get these permits and make sure they got seat belts and all this other stuff, we're gonna have to cite these other people, because it's not fair to them, you know?
Question. 13-year-old, so we say we pass this, a 13-year-old boy or child flips one of them, breaks an arm because they couldn't jump off of it because they've got a seatbelt on? Are we liable in for a lawsuit because, well, the manufacturer didn't come out with it, but because of your ordinance, they have to have a seatbelt? Does that make us liable for a lawsuit?
No, because we're following state and federal law as far as that
Okay.
requirement.
All right, that clears me up. Okay.
Has every stone been unturned here, as far as you know?
I ain't looking for any.
That's all right, that was my biggest stone right there.
I think,
Y'all got more questions?
Please speak up. I mean, because we, you know, if you all have anything,
We wanna listen.
go ahead.
I think the state rules and regulations are a little bit overkill, but if that's what it takes to get us an ordinance,
I'll be honest with you,
I'm
I
ready for it.
don't, I don't really see any other way around it.
then I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
One of my concerns is, it's already illegal for kids to ride on. No question, right?
Oh, it's illegal for anyone.
Right. Okay, not just kids, but anybody.
Correct.
So if we pass this, I mean, it's already been illegal. Why do we think they're gonna automatically, kids are gonna stop riding them? That aren't supposed
They're
to?
gonna get fined.
They're gonna-
Yeah, but they could get fined right now.
No, really.
Right,
Because it's
the
illegal.
only difference would be is for anyone to ride on a county roadway, it's illegal.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they could get fined
So
right now.
basically, if the
Yes, they
sheriff's
could.
office goes out, they could park down at Ridgecrest. You know, park on Ridgecrest, Sassafras, wherever, you know, down in Nolan. They could park down there, and everybody drove by on a golf cart and said, "Up, what's your name, social, date of birth?" Write them all tickets. Write them every one tickets. You get the kids too, of course. But the difference with this is, if the kids ride by, say the sheriff's office goes down there and does that, if everybody's in compliance with the ordinance, the adults that drive by, but now understand, I mean, I know this sounds bad, but I mean, say Gene lives on Sassafras and he does not get this certificate, okay? And Sassafras has passed it. You know, they say, yeah, we can ride a golf cart here. If he doesn't have the all the signage and everything that's in the ordinance, he's in violation. So he can get a ticket. The kids are definitely gonna get tickets because they're under the age of 16. So the only people that can actually do this is as long as they've had the sheriff's inspection and all the bells and whistles put on it that's required by KRS. And that's the only ones that's gonna be, and you know, you're legit by doing that. So I don't know that, you know, some people would be like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. Some people's not. You know, some people's just gonna roll the dice. They're not gonna get it. They're just gonna be whatever. But if you legitimately wanna get on a golf cart and ride around in your community on the lake, which this is what this is basically designed for. We've got two, Rough River and Nolan. So, now I don't think I've heard from anybody from Rough River, but I mean, there's a lot down there.
I haven't heard any
Yeah,
complaints.
so, but there's a lot of people that's on them. But if you're in compliance, you have nothing to worry about. You pass them, just pass a law enforcement officer, just like you're in a vehicle. Hey, how you doing? Talking, this and that. But I can see where it's gonna be burdensome to the sheriff's office and the state police.
Yeah.
You know, if someone calls. But, you know, the designation is gonna be with the sticker and making sure they're in compliance.
and on the right
But
road.
the good part.
And on the right road.
But at least we'd have some attempt at being able to regulate. At this point, we have basically so much activity that we can't even start to regulate.
Yeah, we have no right to regulate it because it's regulated everywhere. The only thing we're going by is the KRS, which is you can't ride one. So,
This might keep a bunch of kids from getting hurt too.
well,
Like you said, you've had 6 fatalities just since he's.
6
been
or
there.
7 at least.
Yeah.
Actually, our golf cart that
And
we
one's
have at
too
the
many.
sheriff's office was donated from a mother's child.
Yeah.
Was
well, Gene, when you all started talking about this, I mean, it ain't just you all sitting in here. There's several other people. Was it basically because of the kids riding the golf carts?
That
Nutshell,
and-
basically.
Well, the first time, several years ago, when you all weren't in office, we brought it up, Rough River and Nolan Lake was in there, and it was because of the kids. Yes, there were so many kids running around getting hurt It was giving us a bad name and was bringing the law enforcement out in the area because everybody was getting hurt at that time. So we tried to bring an ordinance up and it wouldn't pass. This time, it's because of the situation we had in our local neighborhood.
Yeah,
And that's why we brought it in.
right.
But it's gonna go over, you know, if we pass it, and like I made that motion.
Yeah.
We'll accept it as it is. Because we need to why call 911 every time and, you know, that's
Right.
a waste of
Yeah, the
your
only thing you
time.
gotta do is just get in compliance, and, you
Yeah.
know, like I said.
As long as we're in compliance, he has no foot.
Yeah. Any more discussion, guys? I'm telling you, anything, say whatever's on your mind. Jeremy, you got anything else?
This does not include UTVs.
This
No,
does
just
not
golf carts,
include
all we're talking
UTVs.
about.
No UTVs, none of those side-by-sides. You know, we had a bad fatality last year. It wasn't on a road, but,
I've seen a lot of those down on the lakes too.
They're getting to be more and more, but I'm not interested. I have one myself, but it stays on the farm.
Yeah,
And I had the golf cart because it stays on the farm. I had my side-by-side on the farm, and my wife couldn't get to me, so I bought her a golf cart. And it was 20 years ago when I did this,
right.
you know?
Okay, like I said, gentlemen, we're in a little bit different boat than a lot of other counties in the Commonwealth are, because we have two, well, they're actually not recreational lakes, but we use them for recreational lakes, but, you know, so we have a lot of lake communities here, so,
This is just the first reading though, I mean, we could talk with Norman and.
oh, yeah. Yeah, and like I said, there might be, I mean, I've looked at this when Jeremy prepared it, and, I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, you know, as far as I think all the i's are dotted and t's are crossed, and there might be some other things that some people that, you know, is listening, that they might come up with. And, you know, we're open for suggestion, but, on the first reading, and of course, we could change it. I think we would have to go back, if it did anything in the first reading changes, we'd have to go back and redo it and have another first reading, correct?
well, with the second, between now and the second reading, I think that we could make changes, and then that second reading would really kind of become amended first one, and then we'd go on from there.
Gotcha.
Do you think you need to add, this does not include ATVs, just from getting the phones burning off the walls about it?
Well, it's got golf carts addressed in it.
Yeah.
I know you've got the description of a golf cart.
He's right, a lot of people will lead that into that.
Well, if I put golf cart wheels on my four-wheeler, I mean, you know, I'm saying the phone's gonna ring off the wall.
He is
Well, you can't take an ATV on a golf course, and it states in here all
Yeah,
about.
that would be
golf
the
courses.
thing. It's got a description of what a golf
It's
cart is.
described very
I
well.
think more side-by-sides run faster than 35 miles an
Yeah.
hour too,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
so.
Oh, yeah.
all righty.
All right, gentlemen, would someone give me a motion to
I'll make a
pass the
motion.
first
I
reading?
second it.
Motion by Brian, second by Tommy. All in favor? Any opposed? None opposed. All right, first reading passes. All right, good discussion. New business. Jared? Jason? No. Kevin? Darren? No.
No, sir.
Charlotte?
Glad to be here.
No, sir.
Jeremy? All right, I need a motion to approve to request KPPA, which is our retirement system, to separate the detention center from the physical court. They've been wanting to do this for quite some time, and it gets a little chaotic for them. Jason's aware of it, and you don't have an issue with it, Jason?
Whatever's easiest for
Do that.
everybody to do.
It's so they can keep up with it a little bit better at the retirement system, so I need a motion to,
I'll make that motion.
to do that.
Second it.
Motion by Damon, second by Darren, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Nothing else? Y'all got anything else? Nothing?
Thanks for listening to us.
Hey, no problem. Anytime. Need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Tommy.
Second.
Second by Brian, all in favor?
Aye.